Hey, it's Empress Rose. Welcome to your reading. General reading. Take what works, leave what doesn't. This is a reading for everyone. Welcome to our reading, I should say. As I was preparing the cards, I have my little scrying ball here, and I keep seeing a face with a mask on it, like a raccoon, sort of that kind of mask. Dare I say a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. And they're watching, but with only one eye. This is a lot of cards. I don't want all of these cards. That was like 8. Give me a few. Oh my gosh. It's very insistent that we're going to do a lot of cards. Fine. Okay, 6 is better than 8. So. Also, while I was shuffling the tarot deck, there was a Page of Cups that kept coming forward, and a 2 of Cups and a Page of Pentacles. So that to me is talking about a very real world connection with someone, that very real emotional connection becoming more solid, more real. And then I was reminded of that because we have basically what's the 2 of Cups right here. A new romantic cycle begins, Libra, new moon in Libra. So that's talking about, we don't know where something's going. There's sort of a void as far as our perception is concerned. We can't tell how something's really going to turn out. And it says a new romantic cycle begins. We have like balance, the balancing act of needs and wants and desires, a balance between 2 people. We have, and it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, although all of those cups, but it can be like a new team member, a new friendship. There's compromises that need to happen here. Again, I'm seeing an eye here as part of this balancing, just one eye. There keeps just being one eye. And so this balancing, hinging on perception perhaps. The perception of balancing, perceiving something as being like even and steady. Oh my gosh, it's really interesting. My eye just started itching. So there's something about an eye here. Yeah, that's I. I want to say I and I, which is sort of like the divine within. Yeah, there's a perception here of balance and reciprocity, and I'm trying to balance something. That can be often a misperception about Libras, is that Libras themselves are balanced, but what they can do is bring balance and fairness into a situation that would otherwise be unbalanced. So there could be compromise, there could be a need to team up with someone else that has some other part of the situation to balance out the situation. We also have new moon in Capricorn. Your hard work is paying off. So again, new moon energy. We have like 3 new moons here. So heading into setting intentions. So setting intentions for a relationship. Perhaps this is already established relationship that has a new intention being set with it of like balance, reciprocity, and wanting it to be more balanced. So this could already be an established relationship that needs balancing. Your hard work is paying off. So new moon in Capricorn. You don't know how it's paying off. You don't know where it's paying off. But you could be working on a relationship or working on yourself. I'm getting more of it being a psychological thing right now, a heart thing. So the work you're doing, the emotional, psychological work you're doing is paying off. You can't see that right now. It's not obvious right now. And this could be something where you're trying to balance a relationship with someone, or wanting it to be more even or more. And the message is getting across. The message is being received. You know how some people, like if you set boundaries with some people, they can't really even hear it or acknowledge it, or they're not capable of it. And then there's this whole other set of people, which are most people, which when you set boundaries with them, they are able to hear that, they are able to understand, and they are able to respond and reciprocate the need. And it might be a process, it might take time, but they might be able to do it. So it's important to give people an opportunity, at least one to, you know, maybe two to recalibrate their own selves to what it actually is that you need, or what both parties need to come to a compromise. So that hard work is paying off. Have faith in your dreams. Yeah, again, this matching this crescent, waxing crescent moon. So this both has the same vibe to it as something coming into fruition. We're not 100% sure how this is going to happen or when, but there is a sense of a building momentum, a building. So you've put hard work into something, and you need to have faith. I think perhaps that the universe, or perhaps even the other person, if there is another person involved here, will be reciprocating. Again, it's having faith in your dreams. So if you've set boundaries or set a need for more balanced reciprocal energy, having faith that the other person can hear that and can respond. So again, not everyone's going to be able to do that, but this is a place where you've been working on something, and it will be, there is a response coming perhaps. You're getting back what you put into something, I think. Yeah, you're getting back what you put into something. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes we can pour ourselves into projects and people and never get anything back on it. But this is something, what I want to say is like, your actions haven't gone unnoticed. Your effort has not gone unnoticed. And whatever you've put, whatever relationship or whatever emotional work you've done, or communication work on your communication styles and that kind of thing that you've done, it's being received and understood, even if you can't see it right now. Okay, share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution, expression. Again, this is, I think this is about this is obviously about communicating something. We already have Libra, an air sign. And this could be communication about work that is being heard, and you can have faith in that being, in this situation, you can have faith in that being like heard, and the response is on its way. So this is about like authenticity, share your voice. Oh, we have 2 of getting out of the cave. Break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. Yeah, you are expressing what you need. You're bringing balance to a situation that may have been out of balance. And look, both of these are, this has you wanting to be out of the cave, longing to come out of the cave, to express something, to really be out in the world, or more present in a situation where maybe you had hidden away, kept your thoughts and ideas to yourself. You maybe had a secret wish or a secret dream, and this is asking you to communicate about it. We have Libra, communication here. Communicate about it and come out of the cave. So no longer being in the cave, right? I don't know how this... So here you are in the cave, here's the cave, here's you emerging from the cave out in the world. So healing, rewriting the future. We're emerging from a hidey hole here, or emerging out of silence and rewriting the future. We're speaking, in a way, speaking the future into existence. This could just be one conversation where you're not going to do things the same way you've done things in the past, and you're communicating that. Maybe you have already communicated that, and it's emerging. You are definitely emerging with a stronger voice, with courage. It takes a lot of courage to do something in a new way that you've never done before. This is all about getting out of your comfort zone and expressing yourself. something that I don't think it's like it's not like a sudden like need. You know, it's not like suddenly someone's asking you, do you want pizza or hamburgers? And you're like, pizza. You've been dreaming about pizza for a while. Maybe you didn't tell anyone that you wanted pizza, you know, on May 20th, that you've had this dream for a long time that you were going to have pizza on May 20th. But it's now time to start telling people that's what you want. You want pizza on May 20th. You want that. So it's something that you've actually thought about for a while. And just because you've never done it this way, just because you've never like told someone, you know, that you would really like pizza on May 20th, now you are going to tell someone. And it's a different way of being for you. It's very different. And it might feel a little unsafe. It's definitely out of your comfort zone. But there's like it's time for you to leave your comfort zone. It's time for you to leave your cave or your silence behind. And yet, like, breaking the chain is really about like maybe even a history of silence, maybe a history of silence in your family, a history of silence in a relationship, maybe a particular relationship where you've just kind of shut up and put up. Maybe you have a past history of telling people what you need and they're not responding. So so you stopped telling people what you needed and what you wanted. But there's a lot of unknown here, right? We have a lot of new moon energy. And so there's unknown, it's unknown to you. It might feel a little unsafe. You might have like emotional agoraphobia, or, you know, it might be physical too. Maybe you do have a little bit of agoraphobia going on. Honestly, like after the pandemic, I do see some people being a lot more agoraphobic than they were before, you know, being in their house for a long time, whether it's because of your personal illness or a global illness or something like that, it can have a profound effect on you. In fact, I'm remembering when I had mono a long time ago, and I basically didn't leave my home or go to work or go to school or go anywhere for about a month. And at the end of it, it was really creepy and freaky to get out. And I went to this beach and I saw a cave up on this little tiny cliff. And I just climbed up to it and crawled into it. It's like, okay, this feels a little better to sit here in this little tiny cave on this cliffside and look out at the world rather than like be out and exposed on the beach. And then I realized what had happened. I hadn't left my house in a long time, and it was very unfamiliar territory to be out in the open air like that. So I did find like a safety zone in the next arena. Of course, it was exhausting to get to the cave, and I had to take a little nap there before I got back because I was still recovering. But that's really funny. I haven't remembered that in a long time, but that's what this reminding me, like leaving this cave. And, you know, I jumped into another cave, but it was still like a baby step. It was baby steps. So, and then get grounded. I think this is really important to this, spending some time alone, knowing what you want, because oftentimes the world can just pull us in so many different directions. We can get emotionally confused with what it is we want, what it is other people want, and the difference between the two. So there's a sense of needing to really be rooted in what it is you want, especially if this is going to motivate you to get out of the cave and to move forward out of your comfort zone. You're going to need to be very much in touch with who you are. I mean, I feel like our destinies and our callings are they must be sewn into our DNA. They're part of just our everyday existence. And so just really getting back in touch with that. And it can almost be for a moment when you get thrown off, getting in touch with that. And that's like the whole point, in my opinion, of meditation, is a practice of coming back to yourself, calling back in your energy, knowing who you are. And that's not necessarily a verbal thing, but becoming more centered in who you are. Like a verbal thing, like I used to think that when you know who you are, you have like labels for everything, and you're consistent from day to day. You know, you're always, if you're a patient person, then you're patient 24/7, and you can never be impatient, because that would make that a lie that you were patient. But that is not the way to go here. Where we go is like, how are you grounded today in who you are and how you feel? And it's more a sensation than it is a series of labels that are rigid and cannot change, because you will be changing from moment to moment. So really knowing what you want in any given moment, having that bodily sense of who you are and self-possessed, feeling very self-possessed. And so what I was saying about meditation is it can often be just the practice of coming back to yourself. It's building that path. It's not necessarily achieving stillness for more than a moment. It's building the road. That first it's a tiny path, then it's a bigger path, then it's a small road, then it's like we want that freeway. We want to build a freeway basically through routine practice back into ourselves, so that we know how to get there and it's easy, and the freeway just goes there every time. Whenever I visit Portland, I always end up at the zoo. I'm never trying to go to the zoo. I've never actually been to the zoo, but like all the roads I go on trying to guess where I'm supposed, because they're confusing. I always end up at the zoo. So that's a little bit of what we want to do with meditation, is ending up at the zoo. No matter which road we take, no matter what situation we're in, we can always get to the zoo. It's our home base when we get to the zoo. So that's a little bit of what I'm seeing, is you need to like really build that pathway to your zoo, or your sanctuary, your inner sanctuary, and having that be a really clear path that you know exactly how to take that, given any sort of, when you're out of your comfort zone here, when you've maybe spoken up about something and you're out of your comfort zone, knowing how to get back to the zoo or back to the sanctuary from any place in the city, right? Okay, I'm gonna shuffle these one more time, and we're gonna get into the tarot here. The table I'm on now is like hollow and loud. All right, from the bottom of the deck, we have Hanged Man. Perhaps there is a pause. There's been a pause. This Hanged Man always reminded me of like sort of the lockdown era of this thing outside yourself. You're there. You can't figure out how to get out of there, but there you are. This is about some place that's felt really stuck. It could be about feeling stuck in a cave. Something that just doesn't seem to move or get better. And you can think about it, and it's not necessarily getting better. You can get yourself free a little bit. I mean, this one really is like getting themselves free. But what happens when, there's a little bit of a tumble to the ground? There's enlightenment. While you're here, you might as well dig a little deeper. If you're stuck somewhere, how do you make the best of it? What lessons can you learn if this exterior situation is not changing? What can you learn while you're here? But I do get a sense of whatever situation's been stuck is freeing, right? We're breaking the chain. We're sharing our voice. We're emerging from our cave. But whatever situation's been stuck, there is a sense in which you now see a path forward and see how you've learned a lot here. You've learned a lot here. In a way, I want to say you've learned your lessons. And because this deck in particular has it where he's just about to get free, but it's taken a lot of thinking and figuring it out and figuring out what to do here. But there's a sense of just on the cusp of movement and freedom from a stuck situation. Oh yeah, have faith in your dreams. Your hard work is paying off. And this, I don't have any other Hanged Man cards where this is going on, where we're just about free here. So whatever naughty situation you've been working on, you're figuring it out. It's been a while though. Past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. Well, there you are again, little Page of Cups. Third time this situation. All right, so in the recent past, we have the Fool card, and I love the Fool card coming next to this Hanged Man card because it's the same guy wearing almost exactly the same outfit. So this was a leap of faith, right? We have the little dog. It's a little dog warning you to watch out, as a little dog, your companion. We have this little white dog. We have a dog and a cat, a white dog and a black cat. Very opposite energies, very yin yang here. So we have dreams, we have visions, we have destiny, a sense of destiny here. We have a sense of abandon, a new dawn, a new day. You took a risk, you took a chance, and you loved it. You loved the risk, you loved the chance, you loved moving forward. What is that? His hands are in a very, there is something, I don't know what this is, but that's how his hands are as he's moving forward. And that just reminds me that we are going to be doing a mudra later on, a hand position that can help out with our meditations. So as like a door knocker here, like knock knock, and you just flung open the door. Maybe you looked through the peephole, but mostly this was flinging open the door and taking a leap of faith in the dawn. And we have Ace of Swords. So epiphanies, realizations, understandings. These are very precise understandings. When I first started this channel, someone told me this is called half blading, where you can take because I was like, why is he holding the blade? But you can take a sword blade and use it as a dagger if you know how to hold the blade. So let's talk about that, like the truth. If you know how to hold the truth, if you know how to handle it, you can be very precise rather than slashing. You can be very precise. And when there's armor on, when there's other things going on, when your opponent or when there's resistance to the truth, a really clever, unusual handling of the truth can get in between, precisely in between the gaps in the armor and achieve its aim. So this may have been something somebody said, or is something that you can say, right? We have you needing to communicate here. But there's a sense of cleverness. There's a sense of using the truth that you have and that you possess in an unusual way and communicating that. It is about communicating a truth, but needing to be very clever and precise in how you communicate it. So for instance, saying, don't be such a bitch is really not going to get you very far here. There's armor there. Don't be such a bitch is just going to clang right off the armor. It's going to sound really bad. But, when you do X, I feel Y, I'm wondering if you would be able to do Z instead or something like that. I don't know. I'm not the world's greatest expert, but that's some little nonviolent communication there. But like, there's something that this also, to me, Ace of Swords, it's supposed to be very optimistic, but there's also a sense here where it could have been something somebody said to you that was right between the eyes. It just got you right here. It was right at this really vulnerable part of you. And maybe they didn't even know that. Right, the crown here. Something piercing through the crown here. I feel like it can be both in most situations, where it's that someone has done a precise wound at the very most vulnerable place, and there's also a truth there, and you can express that truth that you now possess in a way that gets your point across without clanging harshly and being completely useless. So there is an epiphany and an understanding here. You see something very clearly here. Your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape, we have the Empress. This can be you, how you're showing up in a situation. The Empress, the mother, the caretaker, the life giver. I want to say like the picnic haver. This is the one that brings the basket full of the food for everyone to eat. This is someone who prepares the meal. I don't know where that's coming from, but that's how I'm feeling. This is someone who brings the sustenance, sustains life, brings that, has the capacity. This is the one that has the picnic basket, that has the delicious, sandwich recipes, the sandwiches and the cookies and the that can fill the basket. I want to say it's like a cornucopia. It's like this one has the cornucopia, and that's what you want. You want to be, I think, self-possessed. You want to be the one that that is life-giving, that is sustaining, that is self-possessed, that is the source. You would like to be that's your hope. Your hope is to be the Empress. And the Empress isn't the dictator. Say no emperor. This is the Empress, male or female. You want to be the life giver, the emotional support, the supporter of life. What's at issue here is 6 of Wands in reverse. So this could be a private achievement, but more often I see this as like not victory, not having won something. There's also always a sense of public humiliation here, of feeling embarrassed by perhaps not being the Empress, perhaps not being everything that you wanted to be in a situation, or somebody else is. Somebody else may be experiencing some public humiliation, but there's a loss, and not like a loss, but like a humiliating event, an embarrassing event, like you came in last, or somebody came in last place. That sort of feeling. I'm not saying that that's what happened, but that sort of feeling. And then like I'm seeing like a race, and it's in front of a crowd, and someone came in last place in the race, and everybody saw them come into last place. They wanted to be so much, and they weren't all that they wanted to be. And this relates, I think, to the Ace of Swords. Maybe this truth, maybe it was a humiliating, cutting truth that someone did, a statement that humiliated someone. And yeah, that now feels more justified, like as far as the cards are, as far as the intuitive sense I had from this Ace of Swords here. But yeah, it's just not victorious. And being seen as not victorious, or it's embarrassing what happened, or someone's feeling embarrassed, which can often lead to defensiveness, and it can be counter to productive discussions, right? Feeling embarrassed and humiliated. Yeah, I just see embarrassed here. Someone's embarrassed. Or perhaps worries that there's a sense of being seen, whether you were a failure or not, because sometimes we follow our own inner compass, and that's the success. The exterior may be failure, may look like failure, may look like you did something wrong, or may look like people don't like you, or people don't want that, but you following your inner guidance is winning, but it's not being perceived that way. In the environment, we have the moon. So there could be illusions and lies. And this may be why you need to break your silence about something. But someone's not seeing something accurate. Like the moon can both be like an intuitive sense that something's going on, but also a sense of illusion. There could be illusions going on here. And also someone in the environment. Again, there's a lot of subconscious issues coming up here. There's this like sea monster that she's sitting on. She's not sitting on solid ground. She's sitting on a writhing sea monster. That's the basis for some sort of, I want to say, assumption or perception. I think there's also things going on around you that you're not seeing, and you might be aware that you're not seeing everything around you, that you're not, right? Because we keep getting that one eye, not seeing with two eyes, but seeing with one eye. So perception and perspective and depth perception comes from two eyes. I forget what that's called, but it comes from two eyes. One eye, we don't have depth perception, but the two eyes brings those stereoscopic vision into play here. You know, the idea behind 3D glasses and 3D. I'm thinking of like an invention during World War II where they had a plane fly over things, and they take one. It was like the invention of stereoscopic 3D ideas. So the plane would have two cameras on it, separated enough, and then they'd take pictures at the same time. And then back in the lab, they could overlay those pictures and actually start seeing things like, well, that's actually a building, not just a square in the ground. That's actually this tall, and able to discern that. So that's what I guess I'm seeing with this one eye idea, is not seeing the whole perspective, not seeing the whole, not perceiving the whole. I'm not sure if that's you or if that's someone else, because you're doing a lot of hard work. You need to share your voice. You need to say something about something. But with this moon card, that's where that's coming in. It's something in the environment that isn't seeing the whole picture and doesn't have the capacity for depth perception. They're only seeing, they might be seeing something clearly, but they're not seeing like the other snapshot and then how those things work together. So, and that only works when both snapshots are accurate, right? Because when we have someone in a situation who's like a known liar and manipulator, their truth isn't the same exact as someone who's trying to tell the truth. Two people trying to tell the truth. Then we have that like meeting in the middle, that common ground there, and that stereoscopic vision. But if we have one camera that's just not even taking pictures, we can't combine a black picture with a picture and then call that stereoscopic vision and depth perception. So I feel like that's what's coming through with the moon card, is a lack of depth perception and not seeing some other situation or not seeing the rest of something. So that could be what's going on with this moon card. And that's in your environment, is perhaps a lack of, just lacking the depth perception or the full capacity to see something. Your to-do list, Queen of Wands. I love this combined with this, like, share your voice, break the chain, have faith, get grounded. Queen of Wands, this is the energy you're being called into. You want to be everything, the Empress, successful in all areas. But this is saying, let's just focus on this. And this is Queen of Wands, Wands being spiritual. The Queen of Wands being very perceptive, creative, innovative, sitting under this sort of Ace of Swords, looks like creative, intuitive, creative communication about something you've intuited, something that you see. The Queen of Wands, queens are very self-possessed. They're very much about their own experience. And so that's perhaps what you need to bring to a situation, is your perspective. It is understanding this is your perspective. But the external of the situation only has the one perspective. So when you're in touch with your perspective, you're in touch with your own intuition, with your own understanding of the world, with your own creative vision, with your own vision. When you're in touch with that and you bring that into the situation, now the whole situation can pop. Now the whole situation has a life to it that it didn't have before. So I think what's needed is your own perception and communication, precise and perhaps creative communication about your perception, your perspective, your, and not just the mind, but there's a spiritual perspective, there's a creative, This could be about bringing your own individual creativity to a situation, your own individual, it's very much about your individuality. It's very much about your creative spark and your excitement about things. That's what we're talking about here with this Queen of Wands, bringing your enthusiasm, your perspective into this situation. And then we have Page of Wands. There might be a child, a younger person, and they might be very surprised to find out what you think and what you feel. Or it doesn't have to be necessarily a child, but it can just be someone who is surprised and was not aware that that is what was going on, was not aware of that, is very open to your perspective. This person might be very open. They might not know exactly what to do with their feelings. This could be you too, like you getting in touch with your own inner spark here, like we've already discussed here, and then being surprised by what you find. It's not what you expect. So someone here is it's a person, and they're going to be very surprised by how they feel. It's going to be very unusual. They're going to be like, what, I feel that way? Wow. Or, like, really? There's going to be an element of surprise that goes on with somebody. And it could be you or somebody else, where the results, you kind of like cast your net out there and the results are not at all what you expected. So again, Page of Cups, this is a new friendship, a new relationship, but you need to be very grounded and very in touch with who you are and what you want out of a situation, or not necessarily with what you want. Like we were talking about, like this, get grounded, get in touch with you. And I don't really see you needing a bunch of like precise labels for what you is, for what you are. But just that capacity to touch that capacity to be grounded in that and to be confident in how you feel, to know how you feel. And then we have Starfish Spirit, be open to infinite possibilities. Probably one of my favorites here. She's got but that's what we're talking about here. Like, if you need to set boundaries, if you need to say something, speak up, be open to infinite possibilities. It may not go the way, they may be surprised, but so might you. You might be very surprised by the response you get here. So be open to infinite possibilities. Don't label yourself and don't label other people and what they're capable of and what they're going to be able to do. This one coming in here, Cat Spirit, claim your independence. That's exactly what's going on here. No codependency here. No, but they won't like me. No fear that other people won't like you, other people won't understand you, but just you do you. And that's exactly this message right here. We have a cat again here. You do you. We're being a cat. We're doing our own thing. And this independence right here. She's very independent. And this is a desire to be independent. And the way in which, the specific mode in which your Empress nature comes out during this week, whatever week this is that you're watching this, is through spirituality and creativity and your own vibe. This is our vibing queen, Queen of Wands. So doing your own thing. We're not pleasing others. We're doing our own oil change or something like that. We're not having someone else do it for us. So that's a metaphor if you really don't know how to do that. But you pick, you decide, you decide if you want pizza on May 20th. And you decide if you want burgers on May 20th or whatever we're talking about here. Like, this is up to you. Don't go polling everybody else about what they think, because you're meant to be very much in your own vibe. So Vulture Spirit, nothing is wasted. This can be about health. This can be about a cleanup process. This can be about learning lessons, learning things. Just because everything turns out fine in the end doesn't mean the journey wasn't important, right? Just because we go on a road trip and we end up back at home doesn't mean we shouldn't have ever left home. So Mudra, this feels very important to me. This has been coming out, whatever. What's our mudra? So we're going to use these hand shapes in our meditation this week. We're definitely being called to not abandon meditation this week. Let's do this one. Okay. Brilliance, Tejas Mudra. I feel like we've had this one before. Inner light, focus, radiance. I embrace the radiant brilliance of my loving heart. So this is it right here. And I'll post a picture of it at the end so you can see that. Awakens and uplifts energy. All right, and one more little prayer from our wild Kuan Yin. Just one little prayer from our wild Kuan Yin. Yeah, it's very clear, this one. It's never too late. Ooh, if you've forgotten who you are, right? Forgetting who you are. Know that your true self has not gone away and never will. You just need to get back in touch with it. Underneath every layer of conditioning, under all twisting and turning and trying to fit into some shape to please others. I love this cat spirit, independence. We're not trying to please others anymore. Your true self remains true, ready, and waiting to rise up in original gorgeousness and glory. It's never too late for you to choose to be you. Choosing to be you, choosing your own vibe. Who are you? What's your vibe here? And breaking the chain, coming out of the cave, authentic communication. Perfect. That is the most perfect ending card for this reading I could have ever imagined. All right. Well, I hope that that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining me here. I very much appreciate your continued support of this channel. Thank you. Bye.